welcome to the 69th episode of the Karstcast Moviecast. It's the funny number, and Jeff,
and here with
here
a
we
funny
are
episode.
with a funny, goofy episode. Jeff, which U.S. state is nicknamed the Sunflower State?
Like Idaho?
Nope.
I just imagine at some state they grow a lot of sunflowers, and that
They
seems like a
probably
farmy state.
do. Idaho is the potato state, though, and I don't think they're called the potato state, but they're the potato state.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's true.
It is Kansas, actually.
So I was close though.
Yeah.
It's in like the middle of the country farming type area.
Idaho's like up there, though. Idaho's like north,
Yeah, that's true.
but I guess it's
I was just trying to rationalize being close.
yeah. I wish we were just talking about this. I think I'm gonna bring back the soundboard because it's like moments like those where we really need it for like a buzzer or like a.
Also, you could have had
ding.
some themed ones for like the 69th episode. You could have had like an awooga.
Oh, like those old cartoons, eyes popping out of your.
Yeah, you got to do a lot of post VFX
Oh yeah,
for the.
this will
for the
be
podcast.
a really funny. I guess. Okay, does this? Okay. Well, I said last episode, I think, or I said somewhere that for the 69th episode I do like a certain mood lighting, but I didn't do that. I guess
It's
the
pink.
red. That's kind of
Red-ish
moody.
pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, how's your day been? How's your week been, Jeff?
Whew, it's been pretty much mostly the same
All
like every
right.
other week because I don't go anywhere because I am in Florida.
Yeah. How?
And,
okay. Not to be
Today,
a downer.
I don't know if you saw.
You guys had the biggest spike or the biggest one-day case. I don't know how to word that. But
yeah, it was
you know what I'm trying to
It
say.
was the most new cases, like confirmed cases in a day of any state ever.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's
Now, I don't want to get into like the semantics of this.
Right.
The positivity rate was technically lower than the last few days, but still like way too high.
yeah.
So it's just they tested a lot of people.
Right. Right.
But it's still very bad, and no one in Florida should go anywhere.
And there still
You don't have
are.
to. Oh, people are.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's I saw that and my first thought was, oh, I hope Jeff is okay, because Jeff's the only person I know in Florida besides I guess Mary Lee Borslow, but we're not on those terms yet.
No, yeah.
But yeah, I've been like getting freaked out about Chicago. I think it was yesterday we did an IKEA run to go get furniture.
Yeah.
And it was I didn't realize it was a Saturday. It would be
Right.
packed. It was packed, and being in like an enclosed building. My point is, I'm definitely gonna get tested within the next few days.
Yeah.
because-
Do you need any? Since I'm moving out of my apartment, do you need any furniture?
That's a good question. I'm doing fine. I can ask my roommates though.
Yeah, you should.
We're almost
because
there.
I'm not going to try to sell it in the current circumstances. So if they want anything, they can just have it.
You could. I mean, here's what we've been doing is we've been using Facebook Marketplace. So we have been buying mostly used stuff, which it's an idea.
For me, I just have like a maximum value of stuff is like $500. I'm like, it's not worth.
Yeah, it's a lot of
Because I would also be going back to Florida right after that, so it's not worth like
right.
possibly getting my family sick to make
That's
$500 on used furniture.
Good point. Yeah, that's the thing, dude. Because I'm in Chicago, and my parents are like, you should like come home for a weekend. I'm like, first of all, it's been like 2 weeks. Second of all, I don't want to get you guys sick. Like,
Yep.
That's
really... why when I'm here, like, of course I wouldn't really be doing much regardless, but that's why I'm especially not going anywhere.
Right, yeah. I was so paranoid every time we were in Minnesota. And I don't want to get anybody's hopes up or send the wrong message here, but Minnesota's doing really well compared to a lot of... I've been checking their graph, and it's going down, which feels rare right now. And Chicago's going up. Florida's... Yeah. But we're staying safe, so that's good. We're podcasting. What else was I gonna say? I guess on that note, biking today.
Oh,
And
that's nice.
that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we are probably the most social distanced podcast of all time. If you think of the average distance between us when we record,
Yeah, I mean we've been on the other side of the world from each other
for like
a few episodes.
a third of the entire podcast run.
We've been doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if you've. What I was gonna say is, have you ever been on like the 606 trail in Chicago? In
yes, I
Woodrow
have.
Park. It's so.
Yes.
Today was the first time I've ever like really gone on it. I went in my freshman year briefly, but like, oh my god, such a good trail.
It is like, except for of course for virus purposes, because it's pretty packed sometimes.
It is enclosed
because they had to close it for a while.
Yeah.
Because where I am moving out of, actually, it's like 2 blocks from the 606.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
shit!
so I
I
used to
guess
go on it all the
Logan
time.
Square. Wow. Yeah.
Because it's like
That's,
South Logan.
Cool. Yeah. I had my mask on. A lot of people didn't. So once again, getting tested in a few days. But that's what's going on. What else? I think that's about it for the intro. It's been an uneventful week. I never did tell you though, but that I did do the drive, the 6-hour drive, and I'm gonna say you were right. It's it is it's. I will say it's definitely not a road trip. I stopped once, and it's like, but I will say you feel it. I was exhausted by the end of it, but yeah, not a road trip by any means.
Now, again, this was a terrible idea, but just remember that I did a consecutive drive that was 3 times that long in one sitting.
Yeah, that was on my mind most of the road trip. Like by hour 5, I was like, wow, Jeff would have had like what
13 more hours.
13 more hours after this. I was like,
I don't know.
Jesus Christ. What were you doing? Because you recommended music, and I had my music, but it just wasn't. It's not enough at us. I had one podcast and then some albums.
Yeah,
and,
I didn't even listen to any podcast. It was just straight music for 18 hours.
That's crazy. Dude, oh my God. I have to stop listening to music after like 4 hours. I'll say it. That's when my ears are like,
maybe your music's bad.
Else. Maybe it is. I don't know, but...
You got to stop listening to only Kenny Rogers.
That's the issue. Yeah. Well, okay. I guess that's all I have to say this week. Oh, I had something else. We'll wait it out. But should we get into the movie? Possibly?
Well, speaking... in 1 minute, we'll get into the movie. But speaking of music, we might release a Karstcast playlist.
Oh, yeah. Gee, I was like, we're
waiting
not...
to see how long it took you to remember that we might do that.
I was super excited about that idea, but then I was for a second, I was like, are we making music? We never agreed to that. But we should. I will. Do
you want to be in a band?
I would do it so fast. I'm gonna say this: the Reddit is gonna go crazy. At least one guy in the Reddit is gonna go crazy. But you have that song about mantises. Yeah. I at my cabin got really bored and wrote a song about ostriches because that was my thing, and I think it's a really good song. I went home. I even recorded it, but I'm not gonna do anything with it because I don't have that kind of confidence.
Well, if you spend, I think it's $10 a year, it can be on Spotify.
Yeah, well, even worse.
So, like on my playlist for the Karstcast playlist, I'm gonna include that song.
Yeah, I'm assuming on our playlist, "I'm Just a Mantis" will be right at the top, right?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, it's a legitimately good song.
I wouldn't go that far. What if I was like, yeah, man, I don't know why no one's listening to it. Like, I was messaging all the radio stations.
Like the old-fashioned way, sending it in on a CD. Maybe that is how they do it. I don't know. But
I was doing like the 90s movie thing where I'm in a parking lot with like the doors open just with the radio, like, waiting for my song to come on.
Walking through the grocery store, you're like, that's "I'm Just a Mantis." Yeah, anyways. Yeah, we're doing a Spotify playlist with some of our favorite songs. It's going to be an absolute shit show because we have different taste, I think. But
yeah, we might if it's gonna be terrible, we might just split it up into a Karsten playlist and a Jeff playlist.
Yeah.
Just to keep it so that if you're listening, you're not like, what is happening right now?
That's fair. Yeah. It'll just come at you. It's like whiplash listening to that playlist.
And then you might throw some whiplash songs from the soundtrack.
Put in a bunch of drums. That's my drum impression. Okay. Well, let's get into the movie then.
The movie.
If that's all we have to say.
What movie were we watching again?
So we watched The 40-Year-Old Virgin, a 2005 comedy by Judd Apatow. Okay, so here's the backstory behind this. So because it's the 69th episode, I wanted to do something romance-themed and kind of have fun with it, because 69 is the funny number. And a lot of people wanted us to watch Love, which is this film on Netflix, but I didn't want Jeff to sit through that.
Wait, there's a film called Love, and it's because there's also a series.
There is a series called Love, but there's a film called Love. Okay. And it's like mostly porn, which is why everyone was like, you should watch that for this. And I was like, well, I don't know if... First of all, I don't want to make Jeff watch that. Second off, what are we going to talk about? So I was like, that's off the table. But then I had a few other options. One of them was In the Mood for Love, Before Sunrise, Eyes Wide Shut, and then this one, because I thought 40-Year-Old Virgin would be funny for 69. So that's how we ended up with this. Mm-hmm. And I didn't realize it was another Judd Apatow movie, and we just talked about one of his movies, and that's that. But it is, like I said, directed by Judd Apatow. It's also written by Steve Carell. He helped write it. And it's about a nerdy guy, played by Steve Carell, who's never done the deed, who is a virgin. And he only finds the pressure mounting when he meets a single mother. That's the IMDb.
That's the
IMDb description, yeah. Because there's a lot more to it than that, I would say. But yeah. There's like his buddies. Yeah. But was this your first time seeing this?
It was.
So you lost your 40-year-old virginity. Yeah, this was also my first time. And yeah, I guess we'll get into it.
So you're 22 right now?
22, yep.
So you were the 22-year-old 40-year-old virgin.
Yep. And you're the 28-year-old 40-year-old virgin. They should make a movie about that.
I'm 29 now.
You're 29. Congratulations. Yep. I keep forgetting.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Well, yeah. Let's so the thing that I'm realizing about Judd Apatow movies are that they are way too long. All of them. And I'm not going to talk about that too much. We will talk about it. But this one had a lot of the same issues as The King of Staten Island for me. And it's not as long. It's a little under 2 hours actually, but wow. This felt like it took up most of my day.
Yeah, I saw there was an option to watch the theatrical cut or the unrated cut, and the unrated cut was like over 2 hours and 20 minutes.
Wow. What
They
else?
added like an extra 25 minutes of stuff.
Cut stuff? That's insane. Wow. Yeah. And the thing is, I looked up the rest of his stuff, and like Funny People is over 2 hours and 20, I think. It's like 2 hours and 10 actually. Never mind. And then like This Is 40 is pretty long, and Knocked Up is long. It's like they're all so long. And I don't think they need to be, especially this one, because it's about a virgin, just this 40-year-old virgin, nerdy guy, and it's like 2 hours of that.
Yeah, the last 40 minutes felt like it could have been condensed into like 15 minutes.
Absolutely, yes. This is it. It was like watching King of Staten Island again, even though Pete Davidson was not a virgin. But I don't know what. There was a joke somewhere in there, but that's the best I had. But yeah, it just feels like there's so many different plot lines and stories going on that he introduces a character and you're like, okay, that's a new character, but then it ends up being a whole 20 minutes, and I'm like, wow.
Okay, so I have a question.
Okay.
Did you like any of the characters in this film?
Almost none of them. No.
Yeah, I don't think I
the-
like any character that had more than like 3 minutes of screen time.
That's a good point. I kind of liked the mom played by Catherine Keener. She wasn't awful, but actually no, she kind of was. I take it back.
As a parent, she was very strict.
Yeah, she was not a great mother. Looking back at it, you know what? Okay, well, I was gonna say Jonah Hill and his very small eBay customer character, but he was not in there for that long.
Yeah. But Steve Carell's character was very boring as a protagonist.
Yes.
It's just stuff just happens to him and he does nothing.
Yep. He is okay, yeah.
He's very inactive.
It's like when they were introducing him within like the first 10 minutes, I was like, okay, interesting. But that kind of felt like the extent of it. He really just didn't feel like that changed throughout the movie. I mean, he did like in the small, like obvious ways. Like he would like pretend to be a little bit tougher, or, like manlier, and
like very briefly, and that would be like a big like plot point where he'd be like, "Oh no, I am gonna actually talk to this person."
Yeah,
like, "Oh, then, cool, Steve."
Assuming
nice
his name
one.
is Steve in the movie, yeah. This was just a prequel to The Office, yeah.
What if he's the same Andy as Toy Story?
Okay, wait. I thought you were gonna say the same Andy as in The Office, but no, we're talking Toy Story.
Yeah, that'd be confusing if he was the same Andy as The Office played by someone else, where Steve Carell's a different
in The
person.
Office too. That'd be. I wonder if.
That's why he's so obsessed with his toys.
So it'd be really funny if.
That's why he doesn't take them out of the box, because once you take them out of the box, they become alive and it freaks him out.
He's like, wait, don't open that, don't open that.
It's gonna start talking.
Yeah.
They're gonna move around when I'm not looking.
There's a joke with the name Woody somewhere in here, but once again, I can't
okay,
put it
what
into
was
words.
with the scene where he pees on himself?
Okay, yeah, that was a completely pointless scene.
Right, no one does that.
Yeah, because first of all, they did like the wake up with a boner thing 3 different times, and for some reason, like that time he peed. Like why? I'm like, why didn't you first of all cut all the other boner scenes and just do that one time and call it a day?
Yeah.
Would have saved it.
There's so many like this. Instead of being able to just give a cohesive like overview of this film, I just feel like there's so many small moments that I just keep picking out where I'm like, what? Why did this even happen? Like, why is Paul Rudd's character a massive stalker?
Massive stalker.
Because initially they have him as like this reasonably nice guy.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh no, he's actually stalking this person massively.
Exactly. Because I was like, like you were saying, the only likable person here is Paul Rudd's character. I really liked Paul Rudd's character. And I still think like Paul Rudd is funny. Paul Rudd, like, he's great in the movie. But dude, yeah, he turns into such a massive asshole so fast. And I'm like, oh, I guess he's not a good guy. And it makes no sense because they build him up as being like the one guy in the group that's like looking out for Andy, and then he just completely disappears in his life.
It's this film really, I don't think, aged well, because I think that when this film came out, a lot of these character flaws were something that seemed like, oh, this is just a minor thing you can push aside. But so like where they kept trying to have Steve Carell hit on all of the customers.
Yeah. Well,
like that was weird. Then the boss was like hitting on Steve Carell, which is like
that was weird.
Steve Carell could have immediately just sued this whole company for sexual harassment and won.
Yeah. This movie, I'm glad you brought that up. I was going to bring this up. This movie aged like milk. I mean, it hits everything that you shouldn't be doing.
Yep.
It's very racist. I mean, there are like you watch a movie from 2005 expecting at least like one race joke, because that's what those comedies were. I'm like, okay, it's 2005. This one, it's just like one after another. I'm like, dude, it's racist, it's transphobic, It's
Yeah.
definitely
It's definitely
a little
homophobic as well.
homophobic. It's definitely got like there's a whole section dedicated to like hooking up with drunk girls at the club, like girls that are just completely wasted.
Yeah.
It just hits everything you shouldn't be doing.
Especially okay, and also like very explicitly pointing out that Steve Carell was a sober person hitting on drunk people.
Yes, that was a key part of it. I'm like,
That was the whole bit about why like he was not drunk in this car with a drunk person.
yeah.
And then also it had like drunk driving as a comedic scene.
Mm-hmm.
It was a bit weird.
Dude, because it was like the soundtrack, or not the soundtrack, the score and the weird like pacing and camera angles made it out to be like this like kind of slapsticky.
It felt like a harmless,
yeah. But I was like so anxious the whole time. I'm like, this is awful.
But I
This
wasn't
is
anxious
horrible.
because of like I was in with the film. I was anxious because I'm like, why is this happening? Like
Exactly. So early on too. It just didn't. Nothing was clicking.
So I mean, of course, you do appreciate the progress since this film came out, where the King of Staten Island does not have all of these things.
No, King of Staten Island feels like so mature compared to this. This feels like so high school.
But to be fair, this is really like this era of like comedy.
Yep.
Really, every single one of them was like this, and they all had very generic like posters as well. Mm-hmm. But it's just like Wedding Crashers was also like kind of a bit weird. Like if you watch it now,
yeah,
you know,
I agree. The thing about this is that like it's simultaneously very immature in that way and making a lot of just like bad jokes, but it's also does more with the virgin character than you would expect. It's somehow more mature than it should be, and more immature than you know what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about Judd Apatow. It's like I've heard him say this in interviews. He's like, yeah, you make the silly, goofy stuff on the surface, but you hide like heart underneath it, and like you trick people into seeing something with meaning. And it's like, yeah, I see what he's trying to do with this one, because I do think this one is like trying to explore like sex and relationships and kind of what that all means. Mm-hmm. But you can't excuse some of the things that happen in this movie.
Again, of course, you have to view things in the context of when they were made to an extent.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, this was how all films were that were, you know, these edgy comedies in 2005. Yeah. And obviously, Judd is not still making films that are like this in the same, you know, but
yeah.
Then I think it's also fair to watch it now and be like, yeah, these jokes were not good.
Not good. Okay, yeah, exactly. Because I am like, this has happened for a lot of films. Like Bad Santa is a movie that is full of really awful things, but but again, that's a product of its era, and I'm able to look past some of it because it's some of the jokes, not the offensive, but it's a pretty funny movie in my opinion. And this one, it's just not funny. It's
right.
It's really
it's because it's
lazy,
uncomfortable. I'm sure people in 2005 thought this was funny.
Yeah,
but
completely.
Now the way it's framed though is you can still have characters make these jokes. It's just that has to be framed like that's inappropriate.
Yeah.
Right. It's not like people are the characters aren't representative of the film, but this film is representing these characters as these being like funny jokes for them to say to each other. Like the joke is, haha, isn't it funny if they were gay?
Right. There's no like purpose behind any of these gags. So that's what I have to say about that. That was just it became there. It's one thing for them to be all over the film, but for it to like, when you're like an hour and a half in and you don't see the finish line anytime soon and they're still going on, it makes it just that much more unbearable.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, please wrap it up. And while you're at it, stop doing these jokes. So yeah, there's that. But my Jaxie, who was just on the last episode, she said in her Letterboxd review, she was like, this would be a good film if you took out all those jokes and cut like 30 minutes. And I agree.
Oh yeah, I do. No, the first. Oh yeah, sorry, you continue.
I was just gonna say, like I said earlier, I think how it handles the virgin character, like I think it's a cool concept, and I think it's an interesting story that's handled relatively well. I just think it gets so lost in Judd Apatow doing what he does.
Yeah. No, I think that the second half really was where I found like a lot of the issues for like pacing.
Yeah.
But the first half, I was pretty much like in it, and it felt like the pacing was good, and like
yeah,
I understood where it was going and what was happening. And then
exactly.
Yeah, it just started feeling like very long.
Yep, for sure. And it's like I'm conflicted because I do like the way Judd is like making comedy more than what it usually is. Like he turns it into like full drama experiences that you don't see in like goofy immature comedies like this that often. But there's a reason you don't see it at the same time, I'd say. And it's because everything gets dull after a while. But yeah. I will say, because of its length and how many different things were happening, I thought that this would be a nice mini series. I think if he like took the time, because there's so many characters and so many different things he wants to say about this topic, it could have been a good mini series.
Yeah, do a character-driven miniseries, kind of like Lost, where you have you have flashbacks for what brought each character to their current circumstances.
Yeah.
There you go, and then you have some weird metaphor that wraps it all together.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, as a miniseries, I really liked the location of the like tech warehouse store place.
Yeah, yes.
Like that whole element is fun.
This actually doesn't make any sense now that I think about it, but it kind of reminded me of like Office Space, kind of just like this dull.
Yeah,
like,
well,
really,
I mean, because the location did serve as an auxiliary character.
Yeah, yeah. So, that's it. Yeah. But I don't know. I didn't hate this movie. I mean, I kind of hated it, but I I didn't. I appreciate, like I said, beneath all of that is a really solid film. Okay, what I will say is, all the writing aside, like great performances, I think, by everyone.
Yeah.
I really liked everybody in this, like, not the characters, but Steve Carell was great. Seth Rogen was super funny. And Paul Rudd, obviously, was amazing. And Catherine Keener, again, she was really cool because she, like, her character as a whole, I think, was the most interesting of the bunch because of how, like, happy and kind of carefree she started out as, and you just slowly, like, unravel who she is as the film goes on. I just wish they like did that a little bit earlier.
Yeah, I think this film, like this concept, would be very good if Judd tried to remake it now.
Yeah, totally. It would be a completely different film.
Yeah,
now.
And I think you would replace a lot of the parts that we don't like with parts that we might like.
Yeah, especially now that he's probably like, was he even 40 when he made this? Now that
I don't know.
Let me just look up Judd Apatow's age. He is 52.
Your monitor's so bright.
I know. Fuck. I was going to do something about it, but it's it's so bright. Okay. So yeah, that's I guess that's what I have to say about the 40-year-old virgin. I kind of wish we talked about like something else this week.
Yeah,
but
that's
this
fair.
Is what you got.
Because it's just not a deep film.
No.
There is
a lot
a couple
to talk
layers,
about.
But it's just, as a film, there's not a lot to talk about besides what actually happened in this film.
Exactly.
I can't be like, Paul Rudd's stalking really made me think about something else.
Yeah. Can't be like, that represents like the bad side of humanity. It's like, yeah. That's because it so wants to be mature and say something. And you see that because he later did that with Staten Island, and I'm sure he actually succeeds in like. Well, you've seen Funny People, right?
Not recently enough to give I remember I liked it somewhat.
Okay, I just keep hearing it's good. I think I've already brought this up, but yeah, it's just I can't take a lot of this seriously when the meaning is in between a bunch of shit.
Yep.
And that's what I think about it. Do we want to give it a time of day rating?
By
the way, yeah, isn't that what we were doing? Because everybody,
it is what we were doing. Yeah.
Listen, people, I have gotten 0 comments saying get rid of it, and I want to say 4 comments that say keep it.
All right. What time of day are you thinking?
I'm giving this a solid 12 p.m.
Like noon?
Right? Yeah, noon. A 12 p.m. on a Sunday, which is exactly when I watched this, actually, now that I think about it. I didn't realize. But it's one of those, you have nothing better going on.
Yeah.
Go watch it.
Yeah, no, I agree that it's like a early midday type of film, because this isn't funny enough to watch late at night. No.
I'd be so disappointed if this was my night.
Yeah. So I kind of agree that I would say maybe 1:30, just sleep in a little bit longer.
Grab some lunch before.
Yeah.
Or late breakfast, whatever you... Okay, I had someone on my Twitter ask this, and I want to get your take, unless you had something else to say. No? Okay,
nope,
you
1:30.
breathed in. I was like, all right. PM. Okay. Someone was like, at 12:30, if you haven't eaten anything, is that lunch or breakfast to you?
I think it's relative to when you wake up.
Okay, cool.
Because if you have a job where it's a night job and your whole schedule is pushed back, it can definitely be breakfast.
Yeah, for sure.
If it's consistent. Now, if you're like me, who has been waking up around 12:30 because I have nothing to do and no schedule, I think that still maybe qualifies as lunch.
Yeah. There's a certain... Because, I think a lot of it depends on, what sounds good to you at the moment. Because, honestly, lunch food sounds awful, depending on where you're at in the day. In the morning, you don't want a Jimmy John's sandwich. So, if you're up to it, it's lunch.
Yeah, I kind of disagree, because I just don't like breakfast food that much.
Wow.
There's a few breakfast foods I like, but the majority I don't like.
Okay. What are the ones you like, just out of curiosity? 'Cause I love breakfast food.
I like
so
bagels.
much.
I like
bacon. Breakfast sandwiches,
and I like
you
breakfast
have to
potatoes. But pretty much that's about it.
You don't like waffles or pancakes?
Not really. It just feels like
Damn.
you're just eating nothing, and you just dump tons of sugar on top of it, and then somehow that's a meal.
And then it tastes good.
It feels like you're eating
you don't
a bunch
like
of mouse
eggs?
pads.
Do you not like eggs?
Do people still know what mouse pads are?
Yeah, I got a mouse pad.
You got a mouse pad. Yeah, you're a content creator. You have a mouse pad.
Right. Do you want to see
feel
this
like most
thing?
people don't have mouse pads anymore.
I got wall art that matches the mouse pad unintentionally.
Is it the same size?
Almost.
Oh, that's close.
It's really funny.
So you're just a big moon guy.
I'm not even. I don't give a shit about the moon. But
I don't even like tides.
Decked.
Wish that water would just stay at the same level the whole day.
Yeah. Cool. Well, what about a number
star rating?
Yeah, star rating, sure.
Which the moon is not a star.
Not a star.
It's, when you look up in the sky, you see it next to stars.
Yeah. We should start doing it in half moon. Well, that's actually kind of stupid.
Crescent moon.
Yeah, just let's just.
It's the DreamWorks logo moon.
With the boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I feel like I didn't really like this film.
I like it so much. It's so funny because when I was putting together the notes, I was like, "Oh, I guess I kind of do like this." And now talking about it, yeah, I'm back down to not like.
I just don't really want to see it again.
No way. Yeah, this was the only time I'll ever watch this.
So I kind of want to go 2.
Yeah, I
was leaning almost 2.5, but I don't want to see it again. Some 2.5 stars I want to see again.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it safe and say 2.5. And
what do you mean play it safe? You think that Judd's gonna hire you later? So you want to be on his good side?
You did give it 2.5, so if you want to be a PA, yeah. Yeah, I'm going with 2.5. Cool. Out of 5, to be clear. Not out
Out of
3.
2.5.
Yeah. Moving on. We got some questions today. These come from the Karstcast subreddit. I just put out a new question thread 4. I realized we needed a new one. So go ask us some new questions over there, and we'll try to answer them. So this first one comes from Caroline Rose, and it's favorite childhood TV show, and why is it iCarly? Mine's not iCarly.
Mine is not iCarly either.
No. See, I wanted to ask this one. I was excited about this because you grew up in like the golden age of I want to say like cartoons.
Yeah.
Sorta. Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, you were there, like you were a young child during the 90s, you know?
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite? Like, what were you into?
So, I mean, my favorite show when I was a child was Scooby-Doo.
Okay. Nice.
There also was like a pup named Scooby-Doo, but now you have so many like different series.
Right. There's the movie.
Yeah, so yeah, I grew up in a time where there was a lot of cartoons, and I watched a lot of them, but my favorite was from the late 60s.
Oh. Nice. Mine was I did like SpongeBob, but I would say
yours was Fairly Odd Parents, probably.
Nope.
Or Jimmy Neutron?
Nope. It was Ed, Ed, and Eddie.
Okay, yeah, I used to watch that.
I was like people. I never talk about it. I always talk about SpongeBob, and I do love SpongeBob, but Ed, Ed, and Eddie was like so my thing. I was so obsessed with it. I made a plank. I made myself a plank. Like I had a whatever that.
I mean, to be fair, that's
called.
a fairly inexpensive.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If you're gonna make your own character.
That's the one, and I carried him everywhere, and he's I think still somewhere in that house.
Yeah, you had like a farm, so I'm sure you could just rip one off the barn, and there you go.
Yep.
New friend.
Yeah, my dad like had a bunch of wood projects in our farm where I tried helping him. I tried making my own stuff, but then one day I just gave up, and I was like, I'll make plank, and that's the coolest thing I ever made. So, yeah, Ed, Ed and Eddie, and I had the Ed, Ed and Eddie video game, which was actually an awful game, to be honest, but
yeah, I had a Dexter's Lab, which I used to watch that as well. I had a Dexter's Lab Game Boy Color game. It was terrible.
Oh.
It was
Most cartoon games, they didn't adapt well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I if anyone's curious, my favorite out of the 3 Eds was Double D, and I guess I won't go.
Which one was that?
He was the one with the red shirt and the hat. Yeah, the hat was always just so cool to me.
And that's why you're wearing a hat now.
Yep, the influence, and that's why my room is red.
But you just made an influences YouTube video, and it's just like the dumbest influences possible. Like, you may notice I wear a hat a lot.
Because of Double D. So that's that. This next one comes from I don't know _180, and it's most awkward / cringeworthy moment from high school. Do you have one right off the bat, Jeff?
Okay, so this one is more like awkward, but so I used to have this neighbor who also went to my high school, which was weird because my high school was like really far away.
Yeah.
And it turns out that he was kind of like into petty theft.
Oh.
But not from probably from like 7-Eleven and convenience stores, but definitely from like students.
Right.
And one time I had a Mountain Dew that I bought from a vending machine, and I had it in a backpack, and then it was not there anymore. And then I was like, wait a second, I know what happened to this. Now, I took the bus ride home with this kid.
Yeah.
And then I like interrogated him about it, and eventually he confessed that one of his friends stole it. I'm like, okay, then give me the money for it. And then I had to like convince him to pay me money for this. And then somehow later I remember he like, since he was my neighbor, he was like at my parents' house. I'm like, I should not have let this guy in my parents' house. I'm like thinking back now, I think that he probably stole something from my house.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
If he had a reputation.
Yeah.
I just is it really that worth it? One Mountain Dew?
I don't think
I
so.
would just
Especially
give
because
up
like
and be like,
he knew me.
yeah.
Like, so I just imagine, like, what was the deal with this? He's like, yeah, that's my neighbor. You should go steal his Mountain Dew.
He's listening
Perfect
to this
target.
right now. Yeah. He's like, piece of shit.
Yeah.
Ratted on me.
Yeah, that's not a good story. I'm gonna preface, or I guess
That's okay.
What's the opposite of preface? What's at the end?
What's I don't pro.
I don't know.
After we can only do this so many times.
Yeah.
We're already on edge for spaghetti westerns. We're not getting into this.
Yeah. I just when I saw this question, I was reminded of that event, and I hadn't thought about it for a long time, and so that's why I said it.
I was gonna say that's not like an awkward.
It's not awkward.
Moment,
it was just awkward because it was my neighbor.
Yeah, it's still a good story.
So it was just this awkward bus ride home where I'm like, I know you had something to do with this. Like, what's the deal?
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty good story.
It's not a good story. I don't know why you're saying it is. It's a
fine
terrible story.
It's pretty good. Mine was my senior year of high school. We do a lip sync contest for homecoming week, and I had a lot of confidence that year. And for some reason, me and my three friends, Sam, Josh, and Gib, and Ned, it says a lot about the friend group with those names. But because usually there's only like two groups that do the lip sync contest. It's in front of the whole school too, and it's like a bunch of the senior guys and a bunch of the senior girls, and they just do two big groups. But we decided we were going to do one ourselves to like stand out. So we did Take on Me, but we didn't prepare a routine. So I thought it was so funny, but we just went up there and just danced like this for like 3 minutes, and it got so uncomfortable. Like no one was laughing. We were just kind of like doing our best that the dean of the school was just like, shut it off. And they just cut the music, and we just walked back to our seats. And I was like, all right, well, that was stupid as fuck. And it was my senior year. And then like the senior boys went up without us, and they got a huge applause. And I was like, fuck this, whatever. Now look at me.
Yeah.
I got a fucking play button, so who was the real winner?
Once you get the gold
that.
play button, you throw that silver one through the school's window.
Just fucking destroy. Oh my god. Yeah. Well, anyways.
All right, I got one more story then.
All right.
This it's going to be fairly short, and it also was not from high school. It was from middle school.
Okay.
So my mom made me do like extracurricular track and field. But I was a sixth grader, and I didn't really grow tall until I was in high school. So I was really short, and because of that, I was also not that fast.
Aww.
I was fast for
dress.
a sixth grader who's like 4'10" or something. But
yeah.
So I was put like during the actual track meets, I still ran like 1 or 2 races, but it was as like the second unit in a relay.
Yeah.
So there was one race where, and I was probably of the 4 people who on this team was probably the fastest, but that means I was still slower than all of the people in the normal relay.
Right.
I was the anchor, I think. And our team was so slow that it confused the primary team of the school we were running against. And they committed a lane violation because they got in our lane because they were just really confused by no one was near them. And they lost, so we technically beat them because we were so slow.
Oh my god, because you were so bad. That's a win.
Yeah.
It was strategic.
Yeah.
He played it. It's so funny though. Wait, so that means like
I think they finished the race by the time I even got the baton.
I was gonna say, like, if you were the anchor, that means like you were just the last.
Yeah,
guy
I was just
on
the one. Yeah, I was just like, I guess I'm just running home here.
That's so good. Wow. Damn, I could see you playing or doing track.
Yeah, now back then I was short.
Yeah. I did shot put briefly for 2 weeks and quit after the meet. Cause
Yeah, I can't see you doing shot put.
No, I wasn't that good. It's like I was the swimmer.
You should have.
I did
tried
track,
to
though.
like hype up the crowd. Like
Just
you just spun around with your hand to your ear.
That's how that's how the sport was invented. Some guy was just like that, and they put a ball in his hand, and he was like, "Oh, I guess that was a dumb bit." The shot put.
When you
history.
said that that's how the sport was invented, I'm like, okay, how are you gonna rationalize?
How's he
this
gonna
bit?
end this one?
And you just didn't have one.
The theme of today's episode is like cool ideas, not cool ideas. Not the history of shot put isn't cool, and then weak execution.
The history of shot put isn't cool. I
It's
like how
not
you threw that insult into that. Like,
Well, no one's like, oh no, that was a sick idea.
yeah, I mean, discus is cooler than shot put.
Absolutely, any of the field events are cool. Like long
Do you
jump.
think the shot put was just someone's like, yo, how far can you throw this cannonball?
Literally, probably, yeah, because they're the size of cannonballs. So
Yeah.
I'd assume.
I mean, without looking, I'm gonna confirm 100% that's how they came up with shot put.
That's a Karstcast fact. We have one more, and this is a more traditional film question. It's who are some of your favorite Hollywood writers? This one comes from Brick Blue Ben.
Okay, so I'm gonna just get out in front of this and say I don't pay attention to writers unless it's like a writer director.
That's fair. That's fair.
So
Yeah.
I'll let you take this one.
All right. You're going to probably be happy with my answer. And I'm saying this because I recently watched The Birdcage, which is this film starring Robin Williams. But it's written by Elaine May. And it was so good. And I'm realizing I love everything Elaine May
Yeah,
does. So she's probably my
I'm
favorite.
gonna get on an Elaine May watching streak.
You
It's
should.
I've been meaning to do that for years, and I never have.
Yeah. She's great. Her comedy, and this applies so much to Ishtar. We already talked about this, but she was just so ahead of her time, like so far ahead. So yeah, I'm gonna say Elaine May. But I do like everyone. I do like Charlie Kaufman a lot, but I think Charlie Kaufman gets a little too lost in his ideas sometimes. But Elaine May doesn't do that, so that's my answer.
So you're saying Ishtar is best film of all time?
Yes, yeah, for sure. Charlie Kaufman's listening to this like, fuck! Cool. Well, that's Q&A then.
Do you have any other questions?
God, I did. What was I gonna... There was something to do with breakfast, I guess. But I already asked that one. There was something else I wanted to ask you, though. I guess I've been having a lot of snacks recently. Do you have any snack recommendations?
I have the opposite of that.
Okay.
My mom bought this. It's like dried yellow pomelo. It's awful.
I'd count that as a...
It's
okay.
awful.
Oh.
Don't eat it.
I was like, that counts as a snack. What are you talking about? But that's what you meant by
Yeah,
opposite.
it's terrible.
Okay, so stay away from that. I don't know if you've ever had Dots pretzels. They're those... I know they're in limited states, but they are some of the best pretzels. Probably the best bagged pretzel you'll find.
Okay, so in terms of... Because I'm a big fan of soft pretzels.
Uh-huh.
Do you have any preference on favorite soft pretzel?
I mean, the thing is, like, I haven't had... Usually when I get a soft pretzel, it's at, like, a fair
Right.
or an event. Like, if it's a place where if they have it, I'm getting it.
Yeah, because I used to eat a lot of them when I would go to hockey games when I was growing up.
Yes! Wait, that is the ideal place to have a soft pretzel, because I used to do those when I went to hockey games when I was younger.
Oh, it's great. Because also it's like slightly warm, so it like warms you up a little bit.
And the shitty jalapeno cheese
Now-
is so good.
I also love eating soft pretzels at malls.
Yep.
But
Auntie
somehow,
Anne's?
yes. But somehow the upcharge on soft pretzels is insane. Like the profit margin for a soft pretzel is absurd.
Yep.
Like
Because-
they make it's like 10,000%.
Yep. it's fucked up.
Yeah, it's like they
But,
charge the same amount they charge it like a hockey game,
Yeah,
where all the food is jacked up.
right.
Now, I'm going to say one last thing. When I was in Hanoi, Vietnam, there was one Auntie Annie's there, and I got the normal like thing of pretzel sticks, 25,000 dong, which is $1.
Oh my god, dude. Usually those are like a full $8 or something.
Yeah, and this one, I think the sizes there are a bit smaller because they don't eat as much as Americans as a general portion. So it was probably 2/3 the size of one you would get in the U.S., but still, it was $1. It was the greatest experience of my life.
I'm so jealous.
That was not the greatest
amazing.
experience.
That's
It was the greatest experience of that hour.
You've had a really uneventful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I have something to ask. Speaking of, I guess, big food franchises. When
Speaking, I guess, of big food franchises.
because of everything happening, like, when's the last time you went to Panda? Because
Okay, so I'm gonna yesterday. Now that was the first time in about a month that I did that.
wow.
But
What was
I
your order?
only did drive through and I like sanitized everything.
Okay. Yeah, if it's
So
if
before
it's
that it was
drive-through, you're
like a
fine.
month. But that one trip to Panda Express was the only time I have left my parents' property in the last 3 weeks.
Jesus, man. I mean, that's understand. You're probably doing the right thing. You
Yeah.
are doing the right thing. But, wow. See, man, that's why it's like I needed to get. Not only I want to see my friends, but like I was doing the same thing in Minnesota, but on a farm.
Yeah.
And I just like I was getting back to Chicago was such a shock. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that's wow.
I'll probably be back in Chicago in between 2 and 4 weeks.
Understood. We're probably still gonna have to do it remote.
Yeah, most likely.
Just
Maybe we'll say hi at like a park.
Yeah. We'll do podcast, but outside. That's already a podcast.
Especially because you just named the podcast.
Yeah, I named the podcast, especially because I am in one of the episodes because I walk by it.
Yeah. It's like, but you instead of saying like we'll do a podcast outside and saying that's already a podcast, you actually named
Said
the podcast.
podcast,
That's like saying
but outside.
We'll do wait, don't tell me.
You want to hear something cool while we're on random things?
Yes.
Fandango followed me today.
The movie ticket service.
Yeah, Fandango.
Do you think
I
they're
got
gonna hook you
followed
up
by-
with free tickets when things reopen?
Who knows?
Wait, are movie theaters
But-
open in America at all?
I mean, you're in America.
Yeah, I just meant in other parts. I would
Oh.
hope in Florida they're not.
Yeah, no. Music Box is open.
Really?
They're doing limited screenings of 2001, and now this week they're doing Vertigo, which is like I would love to go, but I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm not, especially because in their rules they were like, you have to wear a mask inside, but once you're seated, you can take it off, and I'm like, what? What's the point?
Right.
So yeah, but Fandango followed me and Letterboxd followed me, so that's
Nice.
a lot of cool big brand
Yeah,
follows.
you're gonna just be a brand guy.
I apparently
You
McDonald's
change your name to Brandon.
brand.
Brandon,
Brand
and then your last
Quist.
name's Twitter, so it's Brand on Twitter.
Brand on Twitter. Oh. All right.
We're
Well,
really
I guess
running out of material here.
We'll be fine. Let's see. We do have an announcement. By the time you'll be watching this, meme of the month is out, so you guys can stop talking about it. It's
Well, I would hope that they would still talk about it, but like the active,
Yeah, but in a different-
as that it exists now.
yeah. So yeah, meme of the month, the full 45-minute special.
Yeah,
We're gonna call it a special. It is on.
we made the length so that they could put it on TV.
Yep.
So just a nice hour
Just in
block
case.
for them.
Yep. Prime time. But yeah, it's on YouTube if you want to check it out. Someone did win, so spoiler alert. But as for the future of meme of the week, I think we're gonna keep doing this. As in, like, don't expect meme of the week because it just felt weird at a certain point. But we'll maybe do like a special sometime in the future, maybe. But that's the case. But we still will be very active in the subreddit. Keep the memes coming because they were always a fun thing to look at.
Well, not always, as you'll see in the special.
Well, yeah, but for the most part. And that's the deal. I guess if you're watching
You made
this
it
on
sound
YouTube,
like that was a tag for like we end all the episodes saying, and that's the deal.
and that's the deal, the Karstcast deal. If you're on YouTube, just go to the channel, and if you're listening on the podcast, just search Karstcast on YouTube, and it should be there. Cool. And lastly, I guess we'll get into the review. Well, this isn't lastly. We have a few other things, but review. We think leaving reviews helps us. So if you want,
Yeah, we don't have any empirical evidence
yeah,
pointing us in that direction to believe that reviews help us for sure. But we believe it, and I think that's enough.
we believe it. And as always, we like to hear what people think. So this one comes from Any Three Colors. I promised I'd read this one in the last episode. The subject line is "What's better than this, comma, two guys." It doesn't let me finish that, but I'm gonna guess that it says two guys being dudes. I feel confident about that. And it reads, "I love this podcast so much. One of the only podcasts I actually listen to on a weekly basis. I really enjoy the dumb jokes, always leaving me wheezing to myself in public. You guys have a great chemistry and bond that definitely keeps my spirits up during quarantine. Jeff, please do a video on how to save money on traveling. Karsten, don't let those stupid people get to you. Love y'all. Heart." Thank you.
It's a very nice review.
It's a very nice review, yeah. So thank you so much. That's why we read the reviews.
So, everyone listening to this who has not followed my YouTube channel, follow
Yeah,
it.
wait.
I'm just trying to build up as many followers as possible. I have
As he can.
some content on there already in the last couple weeks where it's just thanking people for subscribing.
Yep.
Like
very
you've
wholesome.
been on one of them.
I was, yeah. It
Yeah.
was cool. And Jared was on one. And there's not another one, right? There's just
Not
those
yet,
two?
not yet. I haven't
yet,
hit
no,
300 yet.
You're going to get there, though. You're
Yeah.
going to get there.
And eventually I'll post like actual content about
Yeah.
hopefully traveling and that kind of thing.
Yeah. I will say, I really like the thumbnails. They're cool
Yeah.
looking thumbnails. They're just-
Yeah, I'm pretty good at Photoshop, you could say.
yeah. Cool. Well, let's read these patrons, shall we?
Well, I mean, that's more your thing because I can't see them.
Yeah.
I'll let you do it, and then we'll pop out of here. I'm gonna probably get something to
outta here.
eat. You can just get on with your life.
I'm gonna watch First Cow tonight. I think I've heard it's good. But yeah. So this podcast, we don't. Well, okay. How do I say this? I'm trying to. I always want to switch up the read because it feels like it gets repetitive. But the point is, we would love your support because we don't run on anything currently. And this helps us, supporting us on Patreon helps us like get better at the podcast. It helps us just keep doing this. It motivates us.
Yeah, and it's not. I mean, it pays for us when we rent films to watch. It's also paid for this travel microphone that I've been using longer than I should have.
Our point is, it helps so much, and consider joining if you are a consistent listener. And also, if you go to patreon.com/Karstcast, you can and become a patron. You can get exclusive access to bonus episodes, Q&As, shout-outs at the end of every episode, and much more. So,
and if you're a patron and you want something else, just like message us, and if it's like a normal request, I'm sure we'll do it.
We'll do it.
I mean, if you're like, hey, mail a pickle to Barrow, Alaska, I'm not gonna do that.
We're not doing that. I mean, yeah.
But if you're like, hey, can you like answer this question? We'll be like, yeah, we can.
If you're like, hey, Karsten, can you please like make your bed for once? I'll do it.
Yeah,
you know?
There you go. That's all it takes.
So with all that being said, we'd like to thank Allison Grace, Annabelle Falk, Atticus Merwin, Boat, Connor Holmes, Dr. Aneurysm, Eden, Ethan Kell, Holly Edwards. If Meme of the Month is so great, where is Meme of the Month? Or why is there no Meme of the Month? Well, Iron Tusk 93, Iva, Jacob Colness, Jeff, it's me, your long lost cousin from Nigeria. I am locked out of the U.S. and need money. Joshua Krzwicki, Josie Eiler, June Australian Winter, Liv Rob, Lucian Vecina, Martin Def, Mary Lee Borslow, Moses Ox, Ready Steady Ernie, Robert Burke, Sergio Palacio, Sophia Arieta, Vegrad Strom, Vera S. Whatsamata, and Yoki Sasquatch. Thank you guys so much. You have a cousin that you didn't know about, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's all I have to say. You guys should follow my Twitch channel if you don't already. That's something I've been doing. And follow Jeff's YouTube channel.
And also follow the Karstcast YouTube channel. And
follow the Karstcast YouTube
follow
channel.
Karsten's YouTube channel as well.
Follow my YouTube channel for anybody who hasn't been over
He has a
there
button.
yet.
That's how you know it's good.
I do have a button.
But you can't press that button, though.
No. Let's see if I can get there's the...
Oh, there's
there
me.
we are, and there. Yep, there's Jeff. There's me. Cool. Well, I guess with all that being said, Jeff, do you have anything else to say?
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch you on the flip side.
Flip side.